New Era Success TV, and this is Dante. Say hi, Dante. Dante's going to be co-starring with me from time to time, so I wanted to let him say hi. So I'm kicking things off with a big celebration. It is my 10-year anniversary in business. 10 years ago, I walked into my office of my boss in Motorola, and I said, I'm out. I'm resigning. And it was the scariest, most liberating decision I ever made. And, well, maybe not ever, but it was definitely up there. And, you know, I basically traded in my security blanket for a life of being an entrepreneur who makes a lot of decisions based on risk. And I wouldn't do it any differently. I would never go back on that decision. But here's the thing. I've had a lot of ups. I've had a lot of downs. I've made some great friends. I've met a lot of amazing people with huge ideas that are just mind-blowing in what they can create. But the weirdly cool thing is this has not turned out anything like I thought. And yet, it's turned out so much better. I almost want to say the weirdly cool thing is that I have come completely full circle. When I left my business, I had this vision of what I thought I was going to do. And as I come 10 years into this process, I realized that I made a huge departure from it. I thought it wasn't supposed to work. And here I am, right on the edges of bringing it full circle. So I'll be sharing more with you about that as I unfold in these weekly episodes of New Era Success TV. But first, you know, I want to share a little bit about what it's like to go through a massive transformation as an entrepreneur, as somebody who is responsible for their own income and oftentimes for the income of others. When you have contractors, employees, we have an industry full of people right now who are experiencing pain, challenge, frustration, overwhelm, disillusionment about what it means to be in business. And like me, many people have had their heads completely filled with all the probably not the best advice because we've just followed other people blindly. And I realized that the last 3 years have been 3 of the bumpiest years of my life. Now, not all of it was self-created. Obviously, none of us really planned for the extent of how our economy was going to shift. And like many people, I kind of got lost when the rug got pulled out in early 2009. And I didn't necessarily have a really good plan for if everything changed. And the truth is, like, I realized that I am a much better coach. I am so good at doing the inner game work and the building successful business models and helping people build teams and transition their habits and the things they need to do to get more power in their business. I'm really good at that. I'm not so good at marketing. So when the economy hit, and maybe you can relate to this, I feel like the good marketers really jumped in and started like stirring everything up, and there was a lot of energy of buy this, do this, here's how you get past it, and the really good marketers are really good at getting people to say yes. Doesn't mean they're really good at delivering results. And so I have watched for the last few years not only my own business transform dramatically, but the hearts and souls and attitudes and the pain of many entrepreneurs in our industry turn upside down because they've gotten lost. They've sucked into the Kool-Aid zone, and they haven't really been clear about what to do to really take this next leap and to really bring their genius out to the world to create success in a way that makes them happy. So when I started to see for myself that I was blending in, and I started to look around and I realized, wow, a lot of people look like they're blending in. We're all fitting into this cookie cutter mold. And I know it's not working for me. Not only is it not working cash flow wise anymore, because now the game's different. We can't sell and market the way we did before. We need to do something different. I realized that everyone else was dealing with the same things. It's just the good marketers had the skill of marketing to pull people in. And the heart-based entrepreneurs who weren't as good at marketing were suffering. And to be quite honest with you, I got scared. I got paralyzed. I found that I was really not sure what to do. And when I don't know what to do, I stop. Because I'm not one of those people that likes to leap unnecessarily. I don't necessarily want to keep making decisions from desperation. That was one of the principles that I learned in this journey, is that desperate minds make horribly poor short-term decisions, and that normally sucks the life out of you and doesn't move you along any further. So in the face of our industry feeling a huge credit squeeze, everybody feeling stuck in their finances, the flow slowing down for over 90% of the people in our community, I faced the facts that for the first time in a really long time, I didn't know what to do. And I'm assuming that if you're watching this, that maybe you don't always know what to do either. And sometimes we have to take a step back. We have to be willing to reevaluate our choices. We have to be willing to say, is what I'm doing getting me what I want? Not just from the money, but for my life. And I had to face the cold hard facts that my business and my life 3 years ago was not giving me what I wanted. And I had to make some new decisions. And then, of course, there was the huge debacle. Now, we've been friends for a while. You've heard me talk about it. You've heard me talk about the fact that I took a really big leap. I invested in something, and it didn't work out. I'm not going to hash up the details, but the truth of the matter is I made a calculated decision. No one could have planned for the perfect storm of the economy and the credit debacle and a partner leaving and all the things that happened at once. But it happened, and it left me facing some of the things that many of the people in my coaching practice, my colleagues, my friends, and people who were ashamed and afraid to talk about were suffering with. Many of us were in a massive debt. And it was at that moment that I realized I had to face some really, really painful decisions. The same decisions that I had looked at other people making and thought, wow, how does somebody get there? Well, I got there too. And the consequences of this decision to leap and to have it fall apart were significant. I was emotional, I was drained, I was doubting myself, I was cash flow challenged, my confidence was in the gutter. You know, everything that came so easily for me for 5-6 years before that was starting to feel really, really difficult. And so here's the question. What do you do when you feel like the world and the business that you worked so hard to create feels like it's disintegrating and crashing all around you? Well, that's what I was faced with. It was the most humiliating place at that time in my life I could imagine myself being. Not only that, but then my personal life crashed right behind it. I had a huge emotional upheaval when I had a relationship fall apart that I thought was forever. So for 3 years, about 2.5 years, I felt like things were really, really upside down, and I didn't quite have the answers. And so a powerful lesson came out of it, and it's really the foundation and the base of everything I'm going to be sharing with you in the New Era Success TV, and that is that when you are faced with challenges, obstacles, roadblocks, and what you might not even know is holding you back, you have a choice. Do I dip into the despair and stay there? Or do I recognize the power of a transformational tool that is showing up in my life to move me closer to what I'm meant to be on this planet? It took me a little while, but I finally realized I'm in the middle of a transformational journey. The reason I feel cracked wide open is if my ego's been ripped out of me and I'm being faced with some of these painful decisions is not only am I in a transformational journey, but I am a transformational evolutionary strategist. I am someone that people come to when they're in the most pain and they know they're being pulled towards something more that's bigger than they've ever dreamed possible, but they don't know how to navigate through it. Well, I know that dealing with my own twists and turns, I had to come up with different, more powerful approaches. First of all, is I had to deal with the reality and liberate myself from some situations that were going on. And myself, like many other people in our industry, many of who are about ready to reveal their own challenges in this area. Because we've all realized that holding back is not serving anyone. I was facing being $200,000 in debt. God, it was like, really? How the hell did I get here? I mean, I knew how to build a business. I knew how to manage money. And yet, the pursuit of the dream kept dragging me deeper and deeper in it. The launch addiction of like, if I just do it better the next time, it'll get better. And it didn't work. It was bad advice I was given, and it was not serving anybody for me to continue on that path. So not only did I have to figure out how to deal with that and wipe the slate clean, but now I've been helping others navigate through really painful financial disasters that are causing them to doubt who they are and to find that their identity has been stripped away from them, and everything they've taught and believed in is now crashing around them. So if you've been in this place or you are facing this place, I just want you to know you're not alone. Many of us are facing this. Some of us are willing to talk about it, and I'm going to. That's why I'm launching this TV show. I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want you to feel like there's anything wrong with the failure that you've experienced. This failure is a tool. And if it's not debt or bankruptcy or whatever evolution of this that you're feeling, on some level, you may have experienced huge disillusionment and disappointment in how your business has turned out. Maybe you caught yourself in a trap that you never imagined you would get to. It doesn't matter. If you're there, it's a tool. It's not a destination. So let's explore what I learned about building success on your terms. When I was at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, feeling the worst despair, the worst disconnection from source and from everything I believed in, what I kept having ring true in my heart and in the back of my mind was that this was happening for a reason. I'm a teacher. I'm a spiritual guide on this planet for others to find their truth. So am I going to Dante's agreeing. Am I going to, avoid this and fall into the pit, or am I going to use it as a tool to help transform others? I chose the latter, and that's why I've developed the New Era Success TV and branded a whole new program called New Era Entrepreneurs and New Era Leaders, because I truly believe that the next wave, the quickening that's happening, is those of us that get it and are willing to have the shedding of our ego, the shedding of all the things that we thought success was supposed to be about, replaced with a way of serving the planet that's so much greater than anything we could ever imagine. So here's the thing. Rising above the disillusionment and coming back to neutral and solid ground and reigniting the passion inside of me, and Dante's agreeing, was based on the clarity of three things. And I want to share these three principles, and we're going to continue to build on this in every episode from now on. One is, I had to be willing to get totally cracked wide open. Wide open. I had to shed and surrender everything that I thought success was supposed to be about to find something better. A friend of mine has this saying that he had to be willing to do what he didn't want to do in order to have what he never knew he wanted. That's powerful. And that's, for many of us, what we're about to step into together. We have to shed what we have believed erroneously was what success was about, in order to have what we never knew we wanted, but is going to be 1,000,000 times more fulfilling and more impactful on this planet. I also became acutely aware of how I had let my ego drive my business. And the truth of it is that I'm not proud of letting my ego step in, but it was so important because it gave me a recognition and an empathy for other people when they're stuck in the ego phase of their business. Because ego as the driver disconnects us from our truth and causes a pain and a tension to be inside of us that disconnects us from the real work we're meant to do on this planet. So reconnecting to my truth, getting clear on my purpose on this planet, and bringing my business into alignment with that, it was probably some of the most fulfilling and outrageously explosive work I've ever done. And the business that I've created is so much more in alignment with me, which makes it sustainable. When you build a business on other people's truths, it's their business, not yours, and then you're just a cog in their wheel. When you really get deeply connected to who you are and what you're supposed to be about, and you understand your genius and you build your business around that, and you liberate yourself from everything else, that's when real success on your terms happens. And to teach were these New Era success principles. They're vastly different than what 90% of the gurus and the mentors are telling you to do. They're based on you becoming an incubator for your own greatness. It's learning not to rely on others to teach you what to do, but integrating success strategies in a way that allows you to go inside and check your gut and use your own innovation and your own intuition to be able to pull out the greatest success you've ever had. So in the New Era Success TV, I'm going to help you learn how to deal with some of the most difficult, mind-bending situations you've ever been in, while stepping into more fulfillment and a real position of leadership. I'm going to help you explore the dark areas and bring light to them. We're going to tackle the money traps. We're going to uncover the derailers that are keeping you from being able to step into your genius. I'm going to help liberate you from the things that are holding you back. We all have constraints that we bought into. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to hold back. I'm going to bring you all kinds of insights into what it's like when you embrace this new era of success, when you use these new principles, and what it's going to mean to your bottom line, as well as to your sanity. Because my whole job is to eliminate the stress and reconnect you to this level of success you've always dreamed of. But most importantly, we're going to have fun. Like, I want to take you on a journey and introduce you to other people who are creating success on their terms. I want to take you with me as I travel the world and run my business from places like Fiji and Australia and Italy, and what it's like to build a business and how do you make it work. How do I take people to spas and do spa reinvention days? How do you create the business? How do you make the shift? And if you don't know what it's supposed to look like yet, that's okay. I promise you'll have lots of inspiration here. Now, most importantly, you can, so let's do this together. Let's synthesize and bring together everyone who's a new era entrepreneur, a leader, who believes in defining success on our terms. And let's go to www.newerasuccess.tv. I promise we're all going to learn and grow together. This is not just about me, it's about all of us. How do we share and collaborate and connect and raise our consciousness and the vibration that we're operating in so that we can have the life and the business we've dreamed of?